the loss in any given year where a student may lose the opportunity in the classroom because of these cuts that are significant to education. That is one measurement. But let me suggest another. We see an aggressive investment going on around the world in emerging powers out there that are nations competing with us in that global marketplace on clean energy, innovation, and ideas economy. An ideas economy is a robust opportunity for a sophisticated nation like ours. But it requires commitment to investment in education. We take that intellectual capacity and we make it work. We did that in the space race of the 60s. President Kennedy, rather youthful president in his times, offered a challenge to America, offered a challenge in a way that enabled us to invest in research, that enabled us to win the global race on space. That was an unleashing of technology in all told sectors of the economy and from every perspective of quality of life that was enhanced by the investments that were made.
Mr. Tonko, we're going to interrupt our dialogue here for a few moments. I noticed our colleague from the Rules Committee has some work that has to be carried out. Mr. Speaker, we'll yield.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Georgia rise?
Mr. Speaker, I send to the desk a privileged report from the Committee on Rules for filing under the rule.
The clerk will report the title.
Report to accompany House Resolution 477, resolution providing for consideration of the bill H.R. 3463 to reduce federal spending and the deficit by terminating taxpayer financing of presidential election campaigns and party conventions and by terminating the Election Assistance Commission, providing for consideration of the bill H.R. 527 to amend the Chapter 6 of Title 5 United States Code, commonly known as the Regulatory Flexibility Act, to ensure complete analysis of potential impacts on small entities of rules and for other purposes, and providing for consideration of the bill H.R. 3010 to reform the process by which federal agencies analyze and formulate new regulations and guidance documents.
Refer to the House calendar and ordered printed.
I thank my friend for yielding.
I thank our colleague from Georgia for bringing forth these pieces of legislation. I won't comment on them now, but I will a little later as to whether we'll just let it go. Talk about it tomorrow. Thank you very much. Mr. Tonko, you were talking about the need for investment, and indeed, in the area of education and research critical functions, I do want to stay with that subject for a while, but I noticed our colleague from the great state of Ohio has joined us. Ms. Betty Sutton, thank you very much for being with us this evening. I know that you too had a family and a constituency to work with this last week, so please share with us your thoughts.
Well, I thank the gentleman. Representative Garamendi, you've just done a tremendous job in leading the way, showing the American people, because we all know that things don't have to be the way that they are. We all know that we can invest in the things that have always made our country strong, things like education, that we know not only strengthens the individual, but is key to the success of our future. Investing in policies that will enable us to make it in America. And when we talk about make it in America, Representative Garamendi and Representative Tonko, I know that we're often talking about manufacturing, and coming from Ohio, manufacturing, of course, is not just a part of our past and our history, it's a strong part of what is going to make us successful in the future. And I will tell you, I'm excited because in the coming days I'll be introducing a number of bills that are all related to how we can strengthen U.S. manufacturing and bolster U.S. manufacturing for our workers and our productivity right here in the United States. So I'm grateful to be down here with you, and I can just tell you, I went out and I talked to our folks, and there is a growing belief that there is a better way. There's a comprehensive understanding that things have not been fair, that the deck has been stacked, and that there still are those here who are trying to protect the wealthiest and the most privileged at the expense of the others. And that's why I'm so grateful to have the chance to be here and fight alongside you and Representative Tonko and others. And Representative Jackson Lee has joined us here from Texas, because in the last election we heard over and over again, oftentimes, that refrain of people don't want a government on their back. And I agree, and I know you do too, that people don't want a government on their back, but they do want a government on their side. And that's what we're here to make sure that they get, because that is not what they're getting with the Republican legislature as it exists today. So carry on, Representative Garamendi, and count me in as somebody who supports in those investments in education and in making it in America.
Well, indeed, you're carrying many pieces of legislation. I like your one, what was it, Don't Flush America Down the Drain, having to do with rebuilding our sanitation systems here in the United States.
Representative Garamendi, if you'll yield just a moment, the name of the bill, just to set the record very clear, is Stop American Jobs from Going Down the Drain Act. And the whole point of that bill is that when we are building our infrastructure, our water and sewer systems, as you point out, that really need to be built in this country, and of course it would put people to work, it would help our communities, spur our economy, and if we do it using U.S. manufactured goods and iron and steel, which is what the bill would require, then we put even more people to work while we're strengthening our communities. So, yes, Stop American Jobs from Going Down the Drain Act.
I appreciate your correction of my characterization of the bill, but it nonetheless was a great piece of legislation, and it's part of the Make It in America agenda, using our tax money, in this case to build the sanitation systems, the water systems, and requiring that that money be used to buy American-made equipment. I have a bill that would do the same thing for solar wind programs, wind turbines, solar, as well as for trains, buses, and the like. It's our tax money, use it to buy American-made equipment. That's part of the Democratic agenda, and it works. I can give some examples a little later. I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want to thank you, because there's nobody working harder in this entire Capitol building, Democrat, Republican, or the Senate, than you are in rebuilding the manufacturing center of America, the great state of Ohio. Now, Texas is a little far